Welcome back, Watchmen. Let's analyze.
Daddy, the green one today?
No, green has been stolen by thieves, and now we will tell the tale. The mysteries of the iron ceiling have been solved, revealing a betrayal deeper than the abyss. We have spent months striking our heads against a canopy forged from the stolen Hoard. Price began its watch in the pre-market session with an opening around 70 cents, followed by a choppy and indecisive decline that lasted until the approach of the dawn. As the sun began to rise, the line went flat at 69.5 cents, holding that position until the opening gates were thrown wide. Price opened there and spent the first hour in a localized chop between 69.5 and 70 cents. A rally ignited from the base there, but the advance met a strong rejection upon hitting the day's high of 71.5 cents. The retreat forced the front lines down to around the 68-cent mark by mid-morning, where a temporary bounce was staged. This counteroffensive was quickly repelled at the 69.5-cent defenses. The decline strengthened shortly after the midday meal, breaking through the 69-cent defense and forming a secondary bounce from around the 67.5-cent level. A final attempt to reclaim ground was rejected at 68.5 cents. Leading to a steady erosion into the close. At the final chime, the market settled at the day's low of 67 cents, returning to the steadfast floor formed during this last Tuesday. The missing 10K and the suppressed price action now have a very probable legal explanation. Silex has filed a lawsuit against St. James Bank and BNY, alleging the misappropriation and unauthorized sale of over 90 million shares of DVLT. This massive influx of illicit inventory explains the artificial ceilings that have capped every rally for months. We have not been fighting the market. We have been fighting a band of thieves. Right, folks, now we can move to TradingView to analyze the charts on our TGIF edition. We can start here on the weekly. We see a little red week, but we're still in the range here. Yeah, red is winning, but not for long. There's not much else to see here on the weekly, so we'll go ahead and dive a little deeper to the daily. Alright, we had a red day. The news from this morning probably scared a lot of people. People don't like lawsuits. We did make a new low, and we did not quite get to a new high, but we are still within this range. And let's see, the SMA is turning even more upwards, so now we're going to have to chase it up before we can fight that fight again. A ceiling and a floor, that's right.
It's so cool. And we are trying to make it bigger.
I would love to make it bigger. I think we all would love to make it bigger. Okay, let's dive a little deeper to the hourly. You can see a little bit more interesting things here. Alright, the first thing to note is this floor here at 67 cents. It was bounced off of again. I actually called this yesterday. I said we might bounce down here. I called it a bounce from it, but we didn't quite get that. But now it's the weekend. We have Nate's presentation. We have this entire weekend for everybody to digest the potential outcome of this lawsuit, which it should be able to shift sentiment to the upside. And now that we don't have some mysterious boogeyman capping our advances, we should be able to make some progress. All right. From there, we can do, well, yeah, there were no new zones. We didn't have a lot of volume. We had a little bit more than we've had the last couple days, but not quite enough. Alright, so we can do the candle of the week.
Candle of the day.
The candle of the week.
Candle of the week.
Yep, that was, we picked one candle from all 5 of these days. Which one did you like? You like this big candle? That's a good one. Daddy's going to pick this one here. It reached way up in the sky.
Was there two?
No, there's only one. We're going to go with this one here.
It's getting wet.
Yep. That's going to be the opening candle from yesterday. That big fake out candle. A lot of people weren't happy with the fake out, but it did reach above this this other high.
There's a can. It's for your babe.
Let's see, we can mark this channel that we're into with this. This is where our price action has been for most of the week. But I imagine that, like I said, with whatever information we get from the presentation this weekend, and with the market digesting the news of the lawsuit, should be able to get up here above this and possibly test this 75. Let's see, let's draw some arrows. I'm very leery about drawing arrows on a weekend like this with the lawsuit and the presentation coming up. I'm not really sure. It's real hard to predict stuff like that, but I figure if everything turns out alright, we could have a nice little rally next week, and we're coming up on the deadline for the 10K, so it should we should be getting there pretty soon, and then we're gonna see a lot of change, I believe, in the environment. Now, that being said, we could also see some more sell-offs, because like I mentioned earlier, people don't like litigation. It complicates things. We might dip back down to the 64 level. I hope that's not the case. Alright folks, the vote for the bestiary is closed, and we will be presenting the flame golems tomorrow. So I already have that lined up. It's going to be very nice, very interesting. You can find links to the Discord. It's a free Discord. There's no membership fees. Come hang out with us and debate. And I have links to the merch down in the description as well. But before we go, remember we need to
smash the like button, ring the closing bell.
Alright, smash the like button and ring the closing bell. And until the end of all things,
the network stands forever.
That's right. Alright folks, we'll see you next week.